This is one of the most magical pages for me, the whole book, because on this page he gives us in summary the whole yoga of Sri Aurobindo, what the truth he has come to say, the divine who is above, the divine who is around everywhere, the divine who is within, is naturally that is the truth, but to make that a reality in our daily life, in our experience of daily life, is the purpose of our existence. So what he has said in the Life Divine, he said it in a page and a half. It's a very exceptional page. So I'll just read this and then we go back. The master of existence lurks in us and plays at hide and seek with his own force. In nature's instrument loiters secret God. The Immanent lives in man as in his house. He has made the universe his pastime's field, a vast gymnasium of his works of might. All-knowing, he accepts our darkened state. Divine, wears shapes of animal or man. Eternal, he assents to fate and time. Immortal, dallies with mortality. The all-conscious ventured into ignorance. The all-blissful bore to be insensible. Incarnate in a world of strife and pain, he puts on joy and sorrow like a robe and drinks experience like a strengthening wine. He whose transcendence rules the pregnant vasts, prescient now dwells in our subliminal depths, a luminous individual power alone. The Absolute, the Perfect, the Alone, has called out of the silence his mute force. Where she lay in the featureless and formless hush, guarding from time by her immobile sleep the ineffable presence of his solitude. The Absolute, the Perfect, the Alone, has entered with his silence into space. He has fashioned these countless persons of one self. He has built a million figures of his power. He lives in all who lived in his vast alone. Space is himself and time is only he. The Absolute, the Perfect, the Immune, one who is in us as our secret self, our mask of imperfection has assumed. He has made this tenement of flesh his own, his image in the human measure cast, that to his divine measure we might rise. Then, in a figure of divinity, the Maker shall recast us and impose a plan of Godhead on the mortal's mold, lifting our finite minds to his infinite, touching the moment with eternity. This transfiguration is earth's due to heaven. A mutual debt binds man to the Supreme. His nature we must put on as he put ours. We are sons of God and must be even as he. His human portion, we must grow divine. Our life is a paradox with God for key. It's just a kind of mantra that he has put on this page. But now we can go back to the beginning of the section. It's also very, very beautifully detailed. The master of existence, the one who is the author of creation, who is holding up all existence, everywhere, lurks in us. Lurk, to hide in the darkness. In our inconscience, in our darkness, he is hiding. And plays at hide and seek with his own force. Nature, or the universal energy of manifestation, the Shakti in the beginning, the lower creation, later the higher nature, all these things are his force. He uses them slowly, that through her she will unveil the hidden presence. That is her work. She has to bring out of us the hidden presence. That is the push. That is the working of nature. From the lesser to grow into the greater. The evolution of consciousness. The evolution of consciousness, the conscious being is hiding in us. We are not ready for that yet. We are not ready to manifest the divine. So the outer presence remains, the outer nature remains like a, you might say, a cloak. The inner presence is always there, it never leaves. When the divine force starts working and we allow it to work gradually, she removes from us our resistances, if we want them to be gone. If we choose not to remove our resistances, she will wait. She will try not to push us too much. We have to participate in our own yoga. That's why that is a kind of game of hide and seek. He is there, he is hiding, she is apparently seeking. She is nature, she is manifestation, but the outer manifestation is not yet capable or ready to manifest the divine presence. Every particle in us has to be pure for the divine presence to be manifested. The immanent lives in man. Immanent is he who lives within. The indwelling presence. She is there. Lives in man as in his house. Earth is his home. Man is his home. It is not that we are alien. It is not to say that the divine is above and we are below. The divine is also below. The divine is us. But we are perfectly, completely ignorant. And we choose to remain ignorant. We have turned our gaze away from the within and we look outwards. But it is his house. He has made the universe his pastimes field. It's a game. The whole play of manifestation, where there is rise, there is fall, there is darkness, there is light, there is death, there is life. All this is like a game, but they are all part of his plan. Nothing is there which is not part of his plan or controlled by him. But he seems to be hiding. It's like a game of hide and seek. It's the ancient concept we had of Leela. The spirit is there. The individual consciousness chooses to look away from the spirit to find that the surface ego, the surface personality is the true person. As long as that goes on, the spirit stays in the background. But then a point comes when these resistances have to be removed. So this world is the world of great change. Manifestation is the field of change. That's why a vast gymnasium of his works of might, where he will work all his powers, his works of might. All-knowing, he accepts our darkened state. We are ignorant. We are ignorant. We are in a state of darkness. We are often almost antagonistic to him. He knows that there are periods of rise which will always be followed by periods of fall. We turn towards the light, we turn away from the light. This is the nature of the play. There is day, there is night. We accept night as part of the truth. We accept darkness as normal. We don't accept light, continuous light as the truth. We can't bear it. We can't bear too much light. It's part of our nature. So this acceptance of our weakness, of our incapacity, is because He has made us like that for a while, until from within the need to be no longer like that comes up. We have accepted to become darkened. Divine wears shapes of animal or man. All that is divine, which is outwardly not apparent. You say divine is an idol in a temple. The divine is a beautiful figure in a photograph, in a place. Divine is man. Man is a temple. If he knows how to make himself a temple, his being has to be made purified. He just wears a shape of animal or man. Yet eternal, he assents, he accepts. The opposite of eternal is time, the field of limitation. In that field of limitation, the growth, the change will always be stopped at a certain point. Because caused by our weakness and our failure, we cannot go on forever. That is why we call it fate. Fate, death, doom, because it's an incapacity to hold on to that consciousness all the time. The divine consciousness is there, but we can't hold on to it. We lose touch with it, and therefore we fail. He says it will be like this for a long time. Immortal dallies with mortality. To dally is to play, to waste time. He is the eternal, He is the immortal, He plays at mortality. So it is almost as if man is a being who does not have to be the way he is. Through man he is playing. He is playing with oppositions, with weaknesses, with errors, because sometimes you might realize errors, oppositions are the best way for us to be shaken out of our tamas. We are made to wake up fast because we get a blow. We realize. So his way of looking at things, that's why it's a gymnasium. We have to go through life. He gives us experiences that shake us from our dullness. It is otherwise very easy to say that the divine is everywhere, the divine is everything, the divine is doing everything, but I am not aware of it. It's just a sentence. Do I see Him at work in all things? Do I participate in that? Am I conscious of it? I am not. And because I am not, He shakes me into awareness. So that when I fall asleep, when I turn away from Him, we are shaken out of that through all kinds of difficulties, so that we become aware that only through that all solutions will come. It is a field which seems to be contrary to His nature. Darkness is contrary to His nature, if we say darkness is not divine. But there are more contrary. Darkness is also something which is part of His nature. There is nothing that He is not. Darkness is the field where He has plunged, and out of that darkness all His light will slowly emerge, the involution of consciousness. So you see the enormity of possibilities that is there in darkness, in inconscience. In man, we're climbing out of the mud slowly. How can we climb out of the mud? unless that urge to climb. And that urge to climb is her power, she is his power. And so it's a continuous play of forces. We have to come out, we have to grow. So it's a game. It's a very slow, long game because the darkness also is a huge universe. He ventured into ignorance. Venture is when you take that plunge, it's daring. It seems to be contrary to the divine, but there is no contrary to the divine. Everything is part of the divine plan. The All-Blissful, therefore he put on, he who is delight. He created the universe for his own enjoyment because there was nobody else. He was the one who created the universe because he wanted to. And that is joy, that is ananda, when you do something because you want to do it. Nobody is forcing you to do something. That is ananda. The All-Blissful bore, it accepted the burden of insensitivity. It's much worse than, in a sense, joy. The opposite of joy is not necessarily pain or hatred. It is much more tamas, indifference, total lack of response. That is what we are, so often totally insensitive. That is the most difficult layer to crack, to come out. Hatred or dislike is like a battlefield. There is a play of forces. But where there is total insensitivity, there is complete inertia. It is this also that he has created. Out of this complete inertia, which is the field of unconsciousness, from which slowly matter has emerged. Matter is a field of energy which seems inert, but it is not. Matter becomes a completely, you might say, universal starting point for life. It contains all powers. But otherwise, when we look at matter, it seems dead. But this material world cannot give birth to life. Out of the soil, life has come out. All energy is therefore hidden in the soil. He accepted that state. All this play of outer opposites, which is the way our mind works. We like to divide things into black and white. The high and the low, the divine and the undivine, ignorance and knowledge. It is us. Essentially, it's all one. The unconsciousness is also part of the supreme consciousness. The absolute darkness is actually the home of all light. There is no opposite. It is our lack of vision, because we see according to our vision. Our vision is narrow, and so we see things in small compartments. I see this, I can't see the opposite. Incarnate, he puts on a body. Incarnate really means to put on a body of flesh and bone. He is not only spirit, he is not only somewhere far up in the skies, he is here, in every particle of matter, in a world of strife and pain. Slowly this emergence of consciousness has to take place in the body. This is the yoga of Aurobindo. It is not a moving away from this world and retire into a world of conscious peace and calm somewhere far above. Give up the world. It is to be in the world, in the body, and realize the presence on the earth. This is what is the essence of the life divine on earth. He puts on joy and sorrow like a robe and drinks experience like a strengthening wine. It's the vital energy, the force, the delight of manifestation that is there, that is part of the game. He whose transcendence rules the pregnant vast. Now it's a summary. A transcendent is who is above all things. He is beyond, he is above. He is also above. Out of that being above, all has come out. all creation has come out. He was alone, beyond, above. At some point, it's like in the Bible, it is as if the divine says, "Let there be light," and there was light. There was no light until then. There was nothing, there was only He. He was everything. Then from it, some beginning of manifestation takes place. And that is why He projects Himself into His creation. This is the pregnant vase. He came down into our world. Prescient now dwells in our subliminal depths. He came down from above and is within us, below. He is above, He is below. And because He is below, what is below can slowly go back above. The yoga of climbing back to the origin. You go back to the divine. That is the purpose of Sri Aurobindo's yoga. The earth has to reunite herself with the origin. It is not earth here and heaven there. It is this earthly life that has to become an expression of the divine. It is a luminous individual power alone. He is alone, He is the all, He is the each. Those are the three things: the transcendent above, the universal around, the individual in each particular element. So now he's describing these three, they are called statuses. These three statuses, the absolute. Absolute is complete, perfect, which is lacking nothing. That is the word absolute. Supreme, the perfect, the alone. In our world of relativity, there is no perfection. Everything is part of a process. He is complete. Therefore, He is the alone. This is the transcendent, the Brahman, Tat. From that supremacy, He has brought out His energy, His Shakti, you might say, this is the mother's power, has called out of the silence His mute force. So it is as if from the one, He projects His force and she creates the many. The unity becomes the source of all this multiplicity. Until then, she was waiting inside Him to be called up. Until then, she lay in the formless hush, because He didn't have a form. If you have a form, you have a limit. It's like a kind of a outline. How do you describe the infinite? Does He have these features? How do you draw a figure of the absolute? It will always be limited, it will always be relative. She was part of that. She is that also. But she came down. What was she doing until then? She was simply guarding what? The presence of His solitude. She was guarding from time. Because what does time, the field of time in which we live, what do we notice in the field of time? In time there is progression, there is degradation. Things break up, things are born, things grow, things change. In Him there is an absoluteness. It is as if she is like the shield, and behind that shield He is standing there. Nothing can touch Him, nothing can disturb Him, because He is the nothing, He is the all. You can call Him the nothing, He is the zero. The zero which is the all, which is the absolute. So this is the first aspect of the divine. Now out of that aspect is the description of the universal aspect. You say God is everywhere. There you have God. In the transcendent there is no God. There is only that, Tat, Brahman. You can't even give Him a name, because a name is an identity. The absolute, the perfect, the alone, has entered into space, bringing His consciousness into this field, His silence. His consciousness, therefore, is present everywhere. She has done this work. So the divine consciousness has been spread by her into all things. Therefore, to say that we are far from the divine is absolutely false. The divine has come very close, lives within us. But we have turned our minds, our hearts, our egos away from that. That is, for us, we don't recognize this. So she has entered into space, because space and time are the fields of creation. All things exist in space and time. It's a field of manifestation. Beyond space, beyond time, you have Akash. There is no space, there is no time, there is no limit, there is no design. You can't say this is infinity. What is infinity? What shape does infinity have? What is the characteristic of eternity? You cannot describe these things because they are beyond the mind. They belong to the world beyond the supermind, the supreme. Then from that, he's actually describing that supreme consciousness from which the truth has been projected. The first stage is the supramental. She has brought his truth into our world. This is Mother's work. This Absolute has fashioned these countless persons of oneself. The one is the many. All are part of the divine, all are the whole divine. In each, the part is the whole, because the infinite, a part of the infinite is also infinite. All of us are divine, essentially. It is through her medium. He has built 1,000,000 figures of his power. She is the power. Expressions of multiplicity, of diversity. There is no similarity. No two people need to be the same. In nature, she does not do anything that is repetitive. She continuously creates new shapes, new forms, new possibilities of manifestation. He has built 1,000,000 figures of his power. He lives in all who lived in his vast alone. Lived in the beginning, there was nothing but him, but now he is in each, in all. There is nothing nowhere that is not he. You don't say this is a holy place, that is not a holy place. All. Space is himself. Nothing can exist outside space. Space is himself and time is only he. The whole creation is defined by space and time. Now see, the mantra is a little different. The Absolute, the Perfect, the Immune has replaced the word alone. There was no duality in him. Now there is immune. It's very suggestive because this force has plunged into the darkness. But he has plunged into the darkness without becoming dark. It's like the light, or it's like, you might say, the grace that comes down. We get it if you look at the experience of, say, a lotus. The lotus is the avatar, the flower of the divine manifestation. It blooms in the mud. It is untouched by the mud. It's always there in the mud, in the water, but it is never wet. It's immune to its surroundings. So this divine consciousness is in us, surrounded by our inconscience, by our mud, by our dirt, and is completely untouched, undisturbed by the consciousness. That is why, because that presence is always pure, we, the impure as we are on our surface, can connect with it. This is possible, this is the yoga, the unifying factor. Unite yourself with your true self. The true self is he. The power to unite our surface self with that true self is what is her work. This is the work of the Mother. One who is in us as our secret self. So Mother has also described, we have two souls. We have the surface self and we have the inner self. The inner self is the divine. The surface self is our ego. We identify ourselves with our surface ego. It is in us as our secret self. Our mask of imperfection has assumed. Imperfection is a mask. The mask is not the face. The mask has to go. The covering is not the person. There is a beautiful line. The ultimate mask is death. There's a beautiful line later in Book 11 where Savitri sees death. The dim mask had grown a wonderful face. That is, behind the mask of death is the Supreme. Behind the mask of darkness is the beauty and wonder of the Lord. There is nothing that is not the Lord. So this is our mask of imperfection. We are all masks. Masks are many-colored, masks are varied, masks are sometimes very ugly, very disturbing. He has made this tenement of flesh, which is our body. Tenement is a house. But it's not a very good house. It's a broken down, dirty house, which is our nature filled with all kinds of imperfections and impurities, which is easily breakable. Our house breaks down, our body breaks down, we die. But it is still the house of the spirit. The house of the spirit, therefore, is spiritual. The body is spiritual. The body is not material. Essentially, all is spiritual. Our mask of imperfection has assumed, he has made this tenement of flesh his own, his image in the human measure cast. He has reduced himself to appearing like us. This is his sacrifice. He has come down into this world of imperfection, puts on the appearance of our nature, so that this is a human being, but the human being is a divine being. He has done it knowingly, willingly. This is the debt she speaks of. He has become like us so that we become like him. If he can make this sacrifice, why don't we? His image in the human measure cast, that to his divine measure we might rise. This is the transformation, and the transformation is not impossible because it's already there. He is already there within us. We remove the mask, we remove all the layers of darkness and ego and inconscience. This is the long, slow, we might say, effort and sadhana that we have to do to bring out of ourselves the person that we truly are. Truly we are divine. Essentially all is divine. To remove all the outer layers of ignorance. Ignorance is the great, we might say, obstacle. When that is done, then in a figure of divinity, the Maker shall recast us. Like beautiful works of art. A statue, a metal statue is cast. It becomes a golden statue, embodiment of gold and beauty and perfection and light. We are worthy of that. Today, if we were put in the expression of the divine consciousness in our outer nature, we would not be able to stand it, we would not be able to bear it, because all the elements in our being are still so unaware of the divine. In every particle and every cell of the body, the divine presence is there. The unawareness also is there, the ignorance also is there. That's why we don't even know that we are divine. So that is the long work that has to be done. Then we shall be recast as, and this is a new world Mother has been speaking about, and impose a plan of Godhead in the mortal's mold. A new manifestation of divinity, of perfection, in the mortal, not the divine who is eternal and immortal. As it is, the mortal as he is also divine, and therefore he becomes an expression of the eternal. Lifting our finite minds to His infinite mind. He is infinite, we are finite. We become two aspects of Him. If He can come down to our level, we have to rise up to His level. Touching this moment, because we are momentary beings, transient, short-lived, to His eternity. So the dream that man has had of being embodiments of God and immortality is actually the true dream. To be an embodiment of God and light and freedom and immortality. First preoccupation of man, as Aurobindo says, which will be his final preoccupation, to manifest the divinity, touching the moment to his eternity. This change, this transfiguration, is not something that is, you might say, difficult to accept or illogical. It is a due, it's a debt, it's part of an equation. The relationship of He has given us this, we have to give Him back. It's a perfectly balanced, you might say, equation. His nature we must put on as He put ours. Yet we forget about that. You see, God is far above, I am small, I am weak, and we cling to our weakness. We really use our weaknesses as our defense and say, I can't do these things, I'm far too weak. The divine is strong, He'll do it for me. No, that is ungratefulness. He has done so much for me, I can't do this much for me. I can't give my little self back to Him. But I can't, because I'm not even aware that I can try. There's so much ignorance. But we are sons of God. And we have to resemble our parent. We have inherited divinity. His human portion, we must grow divine. Our life is a paradox with God for key. A paradox is an apparent contradiction. But you have the clue that our life is mortal, but our life is created by the immortal, and therefore our life is immortal. If we have got hold of that clue and remain connected with that divine consciousness, whatever experiences we may go through can become a stepping stone towards our slow transfiguration. I think that is enough today.
Only you read, which I typed today from page 536. There also, God must be born on earth.
Exactly.
To be as man, that man being human may grow even as God.
May grow even.
Grow, yeah. So, this I wrote, and this also we are sons of
Yes,
God
yes.
and must be even
Yes,
as He.
yes.
So this only today morning I typed. So that's why I said these are very similar lines.
Struck immediately. Struck immediately,
Yes.
Morning.